Portugal this Saturday have their final 8 songs in the Festival da Canção. Of course, Portugal won most recently. Fantastic song. We were in Lisbon last year. Claudia Pascoal represented Portugal last year, but sadly came last. So they went from first to last. And Portugal, bar the year they won, tend to do relatively poorly. What do we think about these 8 songs? Do we think they've got any potential Eurovision winners or certainly challengers? Elliot, I'm going to come to you first. 8 very diverse songs, possibly the most diverse selection in any national final this year. No bangers, but certainly lots of songs with some really strong points and maybe some points that are a bit Marmite. What are your thoughts on some of these songs?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, which is, Portugal, as usual, are going to stand out in Eurovision. They do every year for good or bad reasons. It's normally bad for me. I think the last song I loved theirs was 2009, I want to say. The woman in the black dress was like twirling a bit, was having a lot of fun. Very happy song. I've forgotten what it's called. For me, my standout song, which is probably not going to win because she only qualified on the televote split, is Ana Claudia with Inacera. I liked her style. I liked the whole sort of her vocal. I liked what she did there, but she's closing and she's right before the massive fan favourite, or after, so I don't hold much hope. As for the big fan favourite, which is Conan Osíris, I don't understand this. I don't fully understand what people see and love in this song.
Thank you. Finally someone who agrees with me.
Some people are saying like it can contend to win. Being brutally honest, if they send Telemóveis, I don't see it qualifying. I think it's too abstract. It's too weird. He's got like a gold-plated beard on, which confuses the hell out of me. He's got a dancer in glitter and doing death drops. And it just, everything doesn't seem to fit with the song. And it just confuses the just absolute marbles out of my brain. I think the duo sound good together, but it's a really dated sounding song as well, I think. Surma is very unique. She did look like a bit like Annie Lennox with not much sleep in the semi-finals. I hope they changed that slightly. But I do think it's going to be Conan or Surma. And I'm just not a massive lover of either. If I could pick, I would pick Ana Claudia. But I do think Portugal are going to struggle. I really do. Sorry, Stuart. I know you love this selection so much.
I'm in love with Portugal this year. David Ray's on the chat room. He's Portuguese. We've had a conversation some time ago about how good the quality of Portugal's been this year. These are the best 8, no doubt about it. The best 8 songs in the whole selection of 16, and I'm really excited about Saturday. I don't know what it is. I'm just more excited than the Melody Festival. I'm going to come to Martin. Martin, 8 songs. You've played a number of these on your radio show, Let Me Be the One blog and radio show. If you're not already subscribed or listening to him, you should be. What you're doing. But Martin, coming to you with these songs, who's the favourite for you?
Well, the 2 favourites, the 2 that were top of each semi-final, were probably the more traditional sounding Portuguese entries, which were, one of them was Matai, which is effectively an amazing ballad.
Perfecto.
Yeah, a superb singer, wonderful singer. And in the second semi-final was MBC, which with the heavy guitar sounds that I said sounded as though it's just come out of a Tarantino movie. And he had this, great, just him. I'm pretty sure he was the one with the sort of weird check suit. Just him singing, all eyes on him, and they were the 2 winners. So in a way, I know that Conan and Surma got sort of top marks with, was it the jurors or the televotes, one or the other in their semi-final, but those 2 other acts are probably the favourites in a way. And I think then Portugal more like to go for those than to go for the more abstract ones. Although, Conan is really, initially you think, what the hell is this? And after a while, it's so eclectic, avant-garde. I mean, is there a fado guitar in there? The electronica. I said it's almost, sounds more like it's come out of Ukraine, because that's what Ukraine tend to produce, that sort of sound. And Surma, I mean, I didn't like it at all. And you sort of say, oh, it's best thing since sliced bread. And there is a charm about the stage performance, but whether it's too out there to actually get enough votes to, be in Eurovision. I think if in Eurovision, everyone would be going, wow, what was that? But I don't know if anybody would actually vote for it.
I think it's bonkers, and I think it's bonkers in a really good way. I see lots of people voting for it. I see lots of people picking up the phone for bonkers in Eurovision, but it's bonkers in a Portuguese way, which is a good thing. I got to experience Fado for the first time live in Lisbon with Andy, that's on the chat room, and you know, I've fallen in love with that country. Portugal's such a beautiful country. This final for me, I think, is full of diversity. That's what I will personally want from a Eurovision selection. But just going back to the chat room, Martin, and we'll come back to some of my guests. David Ray, who I mentioned was Portuguese before, his favourites are first Conan with the song Telemóveis that we've just discussed. Song two, his second favourite is MBC with Iguality, which is the guy with the check shirt, check suit. And third is Surma with the song Pugma. So they're from a Portuguese point of view, they're the three songs that they like the best. I'd have those three in my top three as well, actually, but I'd also add in Inertia, because they're the top four for me. Yep. What else we got going on in the chat room? It's a hive of activity this evening. We've got Anna Claudia can be the dark horse, says David. The final will be regional juries and televote. In case of the draw, the televote will be the decider. Hi to ESC Matt. Hi to Matthew Andrews. The gold mask is inspired by the Egyptian god Osiris. I don't know, but I'll take your word for it. Thanks very much for the comment there. And hi to Andy. Yeah, he's put something about his antics. I'm not going to read on air. Right, coming to you, Jason. Jason, tell me about Portugal for you. What does it mean? And are you excited by this final?
In a word, no. It's passing by this year, and Portugal is probably one of the countries I do listen to for ballads. I liked last year's actually. Shame it came last. Obviously the winner the year before. And when I was at Portugal last year, the music over there was beautiful. Experienced it for the first time, and how passionate they are with their music is a wonder to see. Spanish are with theirs. But some of these do pass me by, and it's Anna Claudia for me again, because it's just above the rest of them, just for me personally.
Something very special about it. It's quite hypnotic.
It is, yeah. But I don't know. It's just passed me by this. In fact, a Portuguese friend of mine said, "Have you listened to the songs?" I said, "Not yet." And I did quickly sort of go through them, and just I don't know. They sounded a bit samey, and you know. The bonkers one was good. I did that anything bonkers in Eurovision works. Let's face it. Anything different works, and especially this year. I think something stands out this year. It's going to go through because it's a very middling year so far, and all the songs we want to come through haven't gone through. Mentioning no names, Ukraine. So you never know. You could do a bonkers song to win.
Well, that's why I think it would really stand out if the Portuguese people sent Surma, Pugna. I mean, I've got this weird suspicion it could really challenge. Coming to Nicholas. Nicholas, what are your thoughts on this selection? And you know, who would you be picking?
I think it's been a little hard for me because Portugal is not a country that I usually follow in Eurovision. I think their entry last year is, in my personal opinion, the best entry they've ever sent, because it was a song that could stand on its own without you knowing that it's a Portuguese song. I feel like usually they send song where it's like, oh, that's the song from Portugal. For me, it's between NBC or Surma. It was the two that I enjoyed the most, listening to the 8 songs one after the other. I don't like Conan, and I haven't liked it from the very beginning when everyone started talking about it on Twitter. I don't know what it is. For me, it's like, see, it's hard to explain, but it's like, to me, it's just noise. It's not music, it's noise. And the performance is weird. And we got to remember, because everyone says, you know, oh, this could challenge the win for Eurovision if this goes through. We have to remember that for a song to be liked at Eurovision, the general public has to like it too. And I feel like this is the kind of song where the fandom can get behind it 100%, sort of like Italy back in 2017. You know, the fandom can get behind it 100%, but the general public, the people that amounts for the most percentage of the vote at the grand final, I don't think they would get it.
Thanks, Nicholas. So I mentioned there's a hive of activity. Sorry, Portugal's clearly struck a nerve tonight in the chat room. There's lots to talk about. Can we bring Susie back? Can we not?
Why not?
Susie was great. Susie was great. I'm joking.
At least that was a fun song. I can give it that.
It was fun. What else? Matthew Andrew says Conan will come top 10 at least at Eurovision. There's something about his performance at the festival that's extremely atmospheric. Rui Gonçalves, hopefully I pronounced that right. Apologies if I haven't, Rui. Conan's chances of going to Eurovision are dependent on the juries giving at least 8 points, and Kalima can still form a top 3 from the televote with Mate or NBC. So basically, any of the 8 songs can win. It's not where we're at. So finally, I'm going to come to Joe. Sorry, we're going to come to Elliot after Joe. Joe, who's your favourite in Portugal?
To be honest with you, I mean, I love Portugal. As a background, I've always loved Portugal and Eurovision. Even when I was a kid, it was something I don't know, I just loved them. It was the song I was always looking forward to, always the one I tried to sing, you know. Everyone who knows me know how much I love Conquistador from many years ago. So I always listen to Portugal and try and get into it. I haven't this year. This is the first year I can honestly say I haven't got a massive favourite. I do, however, like NBC. There's something about him. I love his character, and I love the song. And I agree really with everyone else. I think it's down to him or Surma. I'm not a fan of Conan at all. I think he potentially could win because of being different. But it is just not my favourite. So yeah, I'm going for NBC on this one.
And finally, wrap it up, Elliot.
The thing is, though, everyone's saying about it standing out and whatnot, but everyone, because it's bringing what Nicholas said about the general public need to get this, and a lot of the fans last year loved Claudia's song O Jardim, and it's a beautiful song and very personal to her. It came last, and it came 25th in both categories, so it missed the mark on the general first-time listeners, and I think it's going to happen again. And, you know, they are in the second half with Kate Miller-Heidke, Victor Cologne, Elliot. You know, they could easily be stuck in between Australia and Estonia, and they're gone because you've got 2 upbeat songs with very unique staging at the moment. They could easily just be washed over, sadly. And I do feel like sometimes Portugal are just treated as the filler spot in Eurovision in the semi-final, so they can get the next act ready. And yeah, there's nothing just giving me confidence with what Portugal could send. And that's the problem. The fans always seem to love Portugal, but those that have the bigger voice, which is the first-time listeners, never do. And I think that's what everyone seems to forget, that, you know, O Jardim is a perfect example. And some people are saying it's because of the stage invader with Suri afterwards. I don't think it was. I just think it was a song that people just couldn't connect with for some reason, which is a shame.
Before we go to our panel for a final time on Portugal, just a quick one in the chat room. Don't forget to click that like button. Make sure you click subscribe. There are plenty of people in the chat room. Make sure that we've got plenty of likes, please. We're here doing this for you. It's much appreciated. Also, don't forget you can listen to this podcast tomorrow on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Lots of comments in the chat room. I think this is an open field, but I'm keen to know what my panel think. One name who they think is going to win in Portugal. I'm not going to come to Oban because Oban is getting himself ready, prepared to tell us all about Tamta.
But I have an answer for that question.
Go on.
Fuego.
Oh, you want to say Fuego?
Fuego will win Portuguese final.
Get back in your box. We'll come to you about Tamta in a minute. Bye. Nicholas, who's going to win in Portugal?
NBC, I think.
NBC. Martin, who's going to win?
Yeah, I'd probably go with NBC as well.
Joanne?
Yeah, NBC for me, all the way.
So NBC's doing it at the moment. Jason, do you agree? Is it NBC for you?
NBC.
NBC for you, yeah. So like NBC's everyone's pick. Finally, Elliot, who would you go for?
I think it's NBC as well. I just got this feeling.
Okay, I'm going to go Surma Pugma, just to be difficult, and the fact that I think that that's trippy enough to win Eurovision.